Take it or leave it. It is the moment every negotiator dreads, an aggressive ultimatum dropped directly across the table. When faced with this pressure, you generally have three instinctual reactions. You cave to a bad deal, fight back, risking the relationship, or walk away completely. But there is a more effective way to handle this. We are going to walk through a specific 5-step framework designed to disarm the 25 most difficult adversarial tactics, all without relying on manipulation. The foundational data for recognizing these specific tactics comes from Peak Selling, who categorize the exact maneuvers buyers and sellers use to try and tip the power balance in their favor. By combining tactic recognition with established principles of influence, you change the room's dynamic. You move the conversation away from high-pressure coercion and toward a structured, collaborative exchange. Step 1 is mental categorization. Sort the tactic into one of 3 buckets: stonewall, attack, or trick. Once identified, take a mandatory 3-second pause. This prevents an emotional reaction, giving you time to formulate a calculated response. The common point of failure happens here. When the other side stages an emotional outburst, the natural reflex is to get defensive, which only escalates the conflict. Step 2 requires you to look past the hostility and decode their belief system. You are looking for the subjective truth driving their behavior. Often, an opponent's aggressive behavior is just a reflection of their company's rigid culture or a specific organizational pressure. It is rarely a personal vendetta against you. By forcing a pause and depersonalizing their behavior, you strip the attack of its main purpose, creating an emotional imbalance that forces you into a quick concession. Step 3 is acknowledging and protecting your opponent's ego. It might be tempting to call out their cheap tactics, but do not embarrass them. A negotiator with a bruised ego will typically fight harder just to save face. Instead, move to step 4, reset the frame. You are shifting the environment from a combative battlefield to a collaborative workspace. To make the required physical shift, combine an open posture with a smile. Then deploy a problem-solving question. What can I do to help you? If they drop an outrageous demand, do not reject it outright. Calmly suggest a temporary break or a caucus to study the problem. By protecting their pride and managing the atmosphere, you remove incentives for them to remain adversarial. You make it psychologically safer for them to engage in a different type of interaction. This brings us to step 5, communicating with tact so you can safely deliver a counterproposal. This graphic shows specific lead-in phrases you should use. Soften your statements with phrases like, "I'm wondering if," effectively bypasses their defensive reflexes. This approach leaves a back door open. If the opponent feels they have an exit, they are less likely to feel cornered or trapped by your offer. When you do make an offer, remember the unbreakable rule of concessions. Never give up a concession unilaterally. Only concede if you extract a reciprocal concession in return. This combination of empathetic phrasing and strict reciprocity changes the mechanics of the conversation. The discussion moves away from demands and toward a trade-based exchange where both sides are looking for a path forward. The stalemate has broken. While the tension might not vanish entirely, the take-it-or-leave-it ultimatum has been replaced by a workable agreement, built through the systematic removal of emotional and ego-driven roadblocks. To reach this outcome, follow the framework. Control your emotions, decode their beliefs, acknowledge their ego, set the proper frame, and communicate with tact. Your challenge for this week is to test this framework in a low-stakes environment. The next time you face a standard company policy stonewall, run through these 5 steps and see if you can open up a new path for negotiation.